Hello everyone and welcome to our video about our stage difficulty GL PPTC papers. So we have three levels, level 1, 2 and 3 in our stage difficulty papers, and the difficulty increases through each of the levels, and the time that the children have to sit the test also increases. So level 1 English is a 25-minute paper and there's 25 questions. Starts off with an introduction page, just as they will see in the real papers, and then we're straight into our first comprehension passage, which in this case is a poem. So the sorts of questions that they're going to get in level 1 comprehension, and indeed throughout the three levels, are factual questions, so focusing on details and finding those details, inference questions which require a little bit more detective work and looking for clues. We have true and false questions, and we also have vocabulary questions, so finding words similar in meaning. As well as that, scattered amongst them will be some grammar questions, so nouns, verbs and adjectives. In level 1 we have compound words, and we also have alphabetical order questions, which will be scattered in amongst the comprehension questions. So first comprehension passage in level 1 is a 10 question passage, and then you're straight into your passages with errors section, which is another 10 questions. In this case it is a punctuation passages with errors, so the children are required to look and find punctuation mistakes, so capital letters, full stops, commas, question marks and contractions, looking for apostrophes missing in contractions. So that is the first passage of their section. Then we have our general section, which is 5 questions, and this focuses in on more general questions. There might be some grammar questions put in there, like alphabetical order, for example, types of texts, and also word definitions to do with the English language. So bibliography is the one for this one. All of our English papers contain a glossary, bibliography and index page, and it's important that you point this out to your child because there might be some clues which might help them answer some of the questions. So that's level 1 English. Level 1 Maths. So this paper is a 25-minute paper and it has 20 questions. So we are basically focusing in on our more basic maths questions for primary 6. So we've got our basic fraction and percentages, recognising them, basic algebra, basic perimeter and perimeter and area, simple money problem solving, simple compass, simple function machine. So we're just working through the basics. So the sorts of other things that we might find is ordering simple fractions, ordering decimals, percentage of a number problems, time problems, multiplying and dividing decimals by 10, 100 and 1000. These are all contained in level 1. We might have square numbers, odd and even numbers, factors, rounding to the nearest 10 and 100, simple sequences, 12 and 24-hour clock. We're going to have bar charts included in this level, and pictographs, simple coordinates, and simple reflections and scale. So the questions are the most basic type of questions, and we're going to build on that later in the further levels. So that's level 1 Maths. Into level 2 English. So level 2 English is a 40-minute paper and there are 40 questions. Again, we have our contents page followed by our first comprehension passage. This is a 15 question comprehension passage. Level 1 was 10 questions, and you can see that the lines are numbered. So quite often in the GL you'll get numbered lines, and then a question will actually refer you to a line, which makes it much easier, and children get used to using this method. So the sorts of things that we're going to be seeing added in to level 2 English are adverbs, apostrophe of possession, speech marks, similes comes into level 2, spelling rules such as plurals, adding ed, ing, suffixes and common spelling errors, and there's a few more added definitions to the general section. So similar to level 1, longer comprehension, more questions, and then we're into our passages with errors, and there's 2 passages with errors in level 2. So we have a spelling mistakes passages with errors, in which you're going to be looking for your spelling rules, your common spelling rules, And then we also have our capital letters and punctuation passages with errors section, in which there'll be, we've added in apostrophe of possession and speech marks into this, as well as the things that were in level 1. And finally our general section and our glossary, bibliography and index. For level 2 maths, we have a 35-minute paper and there are 30 questions. So straight into it. So we're just building on what we have in level 1. We're adding in things like prime numbers, area of a triangle, perimeter of a triangle, more complex fraction questions, pictorial patterns, reflections. We've got mean averages in there as well. This time we have line graphs, so another step up from bar charts, which are in level 1. We have multiples, primes, squares, volume as well, slightly more complex sequences, questions, area and perimeter questions that are involving more complex shapes. So we're just building slowly on what we've already learned in level 1. So 30 questions altogether. So our final level in our stage difficulty papers is level 3, and this really is test level. So these papers are designed to reflect the actual difficulty level of the GL papers. So the English is a 50-minute paper and there are 60 questions. So that is quite challenging for students, but hopefully if you built yourself up slowly from level 1 and level 2, it won't be such a challenge. So again, a contents page, you can see it's a longer contents page this time because there's a lot more text involved. Our first comprehension passage, you can see again the lines are numbered, and then we're into our questions. So it's not a huge step up because they have done quite a lot in level 1 and level 2, but things that might be added in are onomatopoeia, alliteration, converting nouns and verbs to adjectives, prefixes, antonyms, superlatives and collective nouns. So that's the added content for level 3. So the first comprehension passage in level 3 is a 10-question comprehension passage, and then you're straight into your passages with errors. So spelling mistakes we're looking at. Then we're into our second comprehension, which is poetry. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 questions in that section, so slightly longer. And we're into our second passages with errors section, which is capital letters and punctuation. And then another comprehension. Another 15 questions, and then your 5 questions at the end for your general section. So longer, a little bit more content, but hopefully they've been through level 1 and level 2. They've set themselves up to succeed for level 3. So level 3 maths is a 45-minute paper, and there are 45 questions in it. So again, this is test level, so it's adding in a few more curriculum levels. So we've got probability added in there, Venn and Carroll diagrams, pie charts, more complex fraction work, angles in a quadrilateral, 3D shapes, timetables, palindromes, area of a non-right angled triangle. So these are all things that are added into level 3. So 45 questions in 45 minutes. And hopefully by the time they get to level 3, they have covered the full curriculum and are ready to succeed in our test level difficulty papers. So that's our stage difficulty papers. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime at lisburntuition@gmail.com. Thanks very much.